Hey everybody, Jabman025 here. Today I'm taking a look at my 6th perfect grade, the Gunma Stray Red Frame Kai. This is a bit of an interesting kit in that it's a P-Bandai kit for everywhere except the United States, at least when it first came out. This had a standard US release, where it didn't anywhere else, which is neat. It was at my local hobby shop. I got it. I've been sitting on it for 2 years. Let's have a look, see what we got. Now, for you to fully grasp how big this kit was, or at least how big the box was, and how many plates were in it, I stood in the box and had a picture taken. I'm 6'2", and I fit in that box just fine. Yep. The frame is not a wholesale copy of the Perfect Grade Strike, but it's a 95% copy of the Perfect Grade Strike. Just basically the whole Perfect Grade Strike, just red. Has the die-cast parts for the knee, just like the Strike. Layer it all up. And now once you got the legs on there, you notice the legs are thick. I mean, they're beefy, beefy legs on this thing. And somebody did not skip leg day. Lots of detail on them. A fair amount of panel lining on this one. The Strike had a little bit, but this has a little bit more. And there are some big, chunky legs, about 8 inches, which is about normal for a perfect grade. But at its thickest, this thing is 2 inches, or 1.5 inches, about 2 inches thick. So, yeah, a beefy boy. Got variable hips, which can come loose on this kit a lot. Nothing major to fix it, but when you're posing it around, it tends to come loose. Just latch it back in place, not an end-of-the-world problem. Torso, the hips are pretty simple. Not much in the way of skirt armor on this thing. Torso. This is where, it's kind of similar to the Strike, but only a little bit. You can see where the Strike ends or where the Astray begins if you've built the Strike before. But, looks nice. Door opens up. Low's in there, chilling. I like that the little seat slides out when you open it up. Torso's on there. All the armor's on. There are some parts of the armor that's a little loose and a little tricky to get on. They will occasionally pop off. Not a lot of that. But when you're moving things and posing things around, you wouldn't be shocked to see a piece fly off. Does have an LED which you have to build and supply the battery for on the head. It is a gigantic pain in the butt. The switch is very difficult to change. It's finicky at best. And that's all the light you get. I wouldn't have even bothered with it, but I'm filming a review, so I wanted you to see what it looks like. If you really want it, you can put it in there. It's a giant pain in the butt to turn the light on. And building the light on this one was a royal pain. I will say here, the Perfect Grade Strike was a joy to build. Everything went together super duper smooth. Not quite as good on the Astray. Still a fun build, but not as smooth as silk as the Perfect Grade Strike was. Here's our first change from Astray to Astray Kai. The backpack is different. We got this big panel thing here. And there we go. I like that the hands have the white and the red, so you don't have to paint that. That looks nice. Beam rifle also comes with a shield. You will never use either one of them. They give you all the parts you need to make 2 beam rifles, except for the green part there, the scope. So here's a whole nother beam rifle here if you want to build it, outside of the green part for the scope, that is. But you're never going to use the gun. You're never going to use the shield. But they give it to you. Swords. You have 2 katanas. They give you these guards. Hey, these are super sharp. Don't hurt yourself. They give you these plastic guards. So be careful with these. They're way over-exaggerating. Are these things that sharp? No. If I jam it into my eye, will I cause damage? Probably. Don't jam it into your eye. But if you run it across your hand, is going to cut you? No. I do appreciate that they give you 2 blades, and they are 2 different blades. Of course, they've got the different kanjis for the names, but the blade itself is different. If you look at the pattern on the blade, each one is unique. They could have been lazy and just made the same blade twice with 2 different names, but I appreciate that they went out of their way to make the blades unique. If you look at the pattern on the blade itself, it is different from one to the other. And I appreciate that. Attention to detail, they even have the locking pin in the handle. That little gold piece there actually holds it into the handle. That's really how they make katanas. There's a little pin that locks it in, and that's here too. And nice gold bling on the pommel and on the guard. But looks good. I like the way these blades feel. I also appreciate this. On the scabbard, or the sheath if you like, they have these little plastic rubber pieces that you put in here. These serve one purpose and one purpose only. They keep the blade in there, but it's not so tight that you can't pull it out. Get 2 beam sabers. There's that shield I was talking about. Beam sabers about the size of the Gundam itself. The katana blades are, yeah, they're pretty freaking huge. They're going to hook on the side of each leg, and because these things are so massive, they really do kind of get in the way, but they look really cool. Here's what I mean, that little rubber piece there. You can pull it out just fine, but it's not going to fall off. At the same time, it just doesn't gravity fall in. You have to push it in just a little bit, and that works great for these. And yeah, those are some pretty big friggin' swords. Speaking of big friggin' swords, we also have the tactical arms. And this is at the point where I was building this thing, and I realized, oh my goodness, I'm not even halfway done, and this is already the size of the Gundam. This is... What? What? And here it is finished. Good God. I mean, just look at this thing. This is monstrous. It is well above the height of the Gundam itself, and is just flat out gigantic. It's not ridiculously heavy, but it's heavier than you think it is. Plus, it's a little on the loose side. This thing doesn't lock together as perfectly as you'd like. So it's a bit of a difficult to pose with. Here it is next to the Master Grade. And the Master Grade one, like I said, is a little more solid. The Master Grade one also is smaller in relative size to the Gundam. The Perfect Grade one is, like I said, much bigger in scale. The Master Grade with a little bit of finagling, okay, a lot of finagling, can stand with this thing on the back. This thing, I'm leaning it up against the back there, not a chance in heck. It's just too friggin' heavy. You can't have this thing standing on its own. Decal it all up. Lots of nice decals on this thing. A lot of nice ones on the tactical arms there. Few on the katanas. They got the names on there. Tiger Pierce. Gerba Straight. Big old 4-piece decal on the shoulder here. Other decals throughout. All of them water slide. Thank goodness. I've seen the sticker decals on this kit on the non-Kai version, and they look horrible. So thankfully, water slide decals on this one. There's a fair amount of them, but not a huge amount. Now, I got him standing. He's holding this big old sword. That's because it comes with an action base. This is a 1/100th tail action base. This is the only way this thing is going to stand with this beast on the back. So, this Perfect Grade, to get him to stand, with the tactical arms anyway, requires this action base. It's just not optional. You need it. And you can see with all the stuff going on, this kit is really deep. I mean, from front to back, it's huge. The tactical arm transforms into this bow and arrow mode. It's got this big shield thing you attach onto it. Again, some nice decals on that one as well. And they say you can the Gundam can hold this thing. I don't know how. They say, oh, it can go on the handle or it can reach into that sheath thing. No, it can't. I mean, maybe if you really finagle it, you can get some pose out of this thing. But look at the size of this thing. Transform it into flight mode. That shield thing goes on the bottom now. it kind of hooks into the backpack that way. Again, action base is 100% required. There is no way in heck it's going to hold it like that. See, it's even, the action base is kind of lean and funky, and I had to really finagle it to get it to even stand. It gives you this arm connection that says if you plug it into the forearm, you can have it in this pose, and the answer is no, you can't. You need the action base for this. This is like the grappler or tool mode. And I guess you can finagle it around so it can hold it. But yeah, you're going to attach that onto the arm. Forget that. You have this mode where flings out these little white pieces, slide out and up, and gives you a nice little gap there. Looks kind of neat. There's multiple different variations of this one. I forget what it's called, but I think it's called the Delta version. It's big, it's gigantic, it looks cool, but again, action base absolutely 100% required. You're not posing this thing with it. And here's the standard mode you see pretty much on the box and the manual, and most of the time you see this thing, this is how it's posed. This is how I'm going to have in my collection, I'm pretty sure. Where in God's name I'm going to put it, I don't know. But you can see there's just a lot going on. I like that the green parts there are not stickers. That's actually just, green clear plastic. And they have lots of neat, clear pieces on this kit. It just looks really, really nice. Final thoughts on this kit. I'm giving this kit a thumbs up. Do you really have to go out of your way to get the Kai? Only if you really like the big over-the-top weapon or backpack shield sword thing. If you really like that, you can track this thing down. I mean, it's not hard. I think they are reprinting it soon. If you like just the PG Astray, you're going to get a lot more poses out of it. Once this backpack is on, it pretty much stands there and looks cool. Remove the backpack, and you can do a lot more poses. You can play with this gun, the shield. You can move the sword around. You can get a lot of nice poses out of this thing. Is it as posable as the Strike? No, but it's still really good. But once that backpack's on, it's standing there and it's looking cool. That's about all it's doing. Plus, it's freaking huge. I don't know where I'm going to put this thing. Well, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope you found it informative. I know this was a long review, but it's a perfect grade. We got a lot to talk about. If you have any questions, ask. I will answer as best I can. Please stay tuned for more. Always got more reviews coming. And I will see you guys next time. Oh, and one more thing. You call that a knife? That's not a knife. Now that's a knife. I would like to apologize to the entire country of Australia for that accent. I'm sorry.